Good evening. My name is Fancy Grace, and this is Fancy Grace's Crime Roundup. This is the week ending on May 30th, 2025, and I'm going to give you the lowdown of what went on in court this past week. That way you don't have to watch all the boring shows that I have to watch. Let's get to it. Thank you for joining me. I begin this evening with P. Diddy's trial, the empire of baby oil and bad decisions. Well. Sean, P. Diddy, the diddler, Diddy Doo-Wop, Combs is out here proving that even billionaires can have a spectacular fall from grace. Cassie Ventura has been on the stand reading out explicit texts like it's an audiobook that nobody asked for. The prosecution is painting Diddy as the mastermind of a sex trafficking empire, while the defense is scrambling to explain why Cassie's texts sound like a 50 Shades spinoff. If convicted, Diddy could be looking at around 15 years to life. And let's be real, if there's one thing that's been consistent in this trial, it's the sheer amount of baby oil involved. At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if the courtroom floor is a slip and slide. I also don't quite understand how you can be charged with a conspiracy by yourself. Who are you conspiring with? And how is RICO, some big giant organization, only having one man charged? That's a little strange. Anyway. People keep testifying. Diddy keeps sitting there and looking like Uncle Ben from Uncle Ben's Rice because he doesn't have his hair dye anymore. It's kind of funny. And it's really sad that some people just have some appetites that are very disrespectful to others. Let's just say that. Because if you want to be that kind of swinging your step, then I guess you just should both be equally participating and not so seemingly regretful. Let's just say that. Okay, I'm trying to be good at YouTube. I really am. Please subscribe and like because I really could use your help because Nancy is still getting all the attention and being her cousin in another parallel universe is very difficult, okay? It's very difficult for Fancy when everybody just loves Nancy. So, how about one for Fancy? Yay, give me a thumbs up. Thanks. All right, next story. Let's keep it going. I know you got things to do. All right, folks. Okay. Chris Brown, the UK tour that turned into a jail story. Chris Brown landed in Manchester, England, that's across the pond, ready to kick off his tour. But instead, he got a one-way ticket to custody. Turns out the UK authorities, they just weren't too keen on letting him slide for allegedly turning a nightclub into a personal boxing ring. Surprise, surprise, after a 2023 nightclub incident where he allegedly turned a tequila bottle into a weapon. Now, if you know Fancy Grace, Fancy Grace loves a good margarita, dear. Chris, we do not abuse our tequila. That was uncalled for, young man. Anyway. That's how Chris looks currently, pretty much. Gone a little bit downhill there, Chris. Anyway, Uh, the judge had denied Chris bail originally, and meaning that Breezy, as they call him on the streets, some cool like that, Breezy might be spending more time in a cell than on that stage. Social media is just having a field day calling it karma season for abusers. Honestly, if Chris wanted to make headlines, he could have just dropped an album instead of dropping a producer on the floor. But he was on the 21st this week. He was granted bail, but he had to pay £5 million, which is equal to $6.7 million in American. That's a lot. I take it that's probably because he took 2 years to return, where they got the opportunity to arrest him. Chris just, I don't know. I don't think he's ever going to learn to just control that temper. I don't know. It's just getting out of control. And so is my cat. Be quiet, please, Olive. We're filming. I'm so sorry. She is just a talker, part Siamese. Okay, well, good luck, Chris. I'll keep you informed of any updates there. But he's out and he's excited. Yay. Well, Karen Reed. I'm sure you've heard that name. Karen Reed, the Lexus that launched 1,000 conspiracies. But are they conspiracies if they're actually happening? Anyway, the Karen Reed retrial. Yes, I said retrial. This woman went through an entire trial that probably cost more than what most of us would ever have in savings, okay? All these lawyers and expense. And the jury was hung. They could not come to a decision. There was so much screwed up in this case. Let me just say. Just a little commentary. But they decided, let's do it all again. I don't really care for that. I think that sometimes we the people, we forget that this is our justice system, and maybe we don't need to be retrying the same people because prosecutors sometimes just get their little panties in a bunch. If you don't have something entirely new and you just don't win, I don't understand that, because it seems like in that sense, don't you think that like you could lose your house, your job, your entire life is ruined already going through a trial pretty much, because if you're lucky enough to be out on some kind of bail or bond, then, you're spending so much money and all of your time is involved in preparing for your case or being in court, and no job is just going to be like, sure, take off for a murder trial, come back when you're done. I don't know of one at least, but you already go through all that, and then you've got to have them say, oh, well, the jury cannot decide, which means the jury cannot come to a conclusion that is beyond a reasonable doubt. And isn't that the standard of proof? So then they say, oh, well, we're just going to try getting do-over. Well, who pays for that, guys? They don't care because they're getting that big money, right? So why are we the people always just, we need to talk, people. We need to start cutting back on some of this stuff, because you know what? Maybe we could have free health care if we didn't do all the stupid overpaying of stuff and golden toilet seats and just, I have an idea for a reality show. It would be to take any kind of celebrity or politician and have them live on what we actually have to live on. Show them like, you have to pay rent. You're supposed to pay for all these insurances, homeowners insurance, renters insurance, car payment, health insurance. Let's see them do that with our paychecks, right? Who's with me? Leave me a message in the comments if you agree, because maybe we'll start a campaign. Who knows? I say reform on these people. Anyway, okay, Beck. I'm going to really try to stay on focus, I promise. Okay, so The Karen Reed retrial is deep into week 5 now. Just finishing up, I believe. Or 6. Don't quote me on that. And the forensics experts are out here debating whether her Lexus SUV was a murder weapon or just a really unlucky car. The prosecution is pushing the theory that she rammed in reverse after, she dropped him off at a party, her boyfriend, who was police officer John O'Keefe. May he rest in peace. Unfortunately, he was killed and found outside of a party he was attending of all police officers in the snow. But Karen didn't feel hitting anything. It's okay. I'm gonna be brief. Let me stick to my narrative that I wrote down. Okay. The prosecution is pushing the theory that she rammed her cop boyfriend, John O'Keefe, in a drunken rage, while the defense is screaming, "Cover up!" and louder than a true crime podcast, let me tell you. Meanwhile, forensic scientists are analyzing glass shards from the broken evidence, okay? They're analyzing glass shards, scratches, and a mysterious hair found on a bumper. They're also researching how a Sally port, what the heck? I never heard of a Sally port until this case. Where I'm from, we call them carports or garages. I never heard of a Sally port. But Sally's port over here, they took these pictures and then they tried to, the way that it seemed, allegedly, in the last trial, it seemed like they were trying to say that she would have busted her taillight, hitting him, while she put the car in reverse to then drive away, and that all of a sudden the tail light that wasn't appearing to be broken on the camera footage of her driving away that evening, it came up broken at her house, and it was the wrong side when you unreversed the camera footage that they were showing the jury. Yeah, they flip-flopped it because somebody done allegedly it didn't match up correctly. So this is just a disastrous case. I just feel bad for the family. I really do, but I feel bad for Miss Reed as well, because this is just, I don't know. I'm going to just refrain because I'm not watching every minute of this because it makes me insane. Anyway, I'll keep you updated though on what's going down. So, if this trial gets any messier though, they might need to call in a CSI crossover episode, like CSI Miami meets Vegas. And then we're going to have everybody doing the whole, this is CSI and taking the glasses off. It's going to be a catchphrase bonanza. So, yeah, everybody's testifying. These suckers also, I just have to say this is the last thing I had to say about the first trial was, these police officers were trying to gather evidence that was outside in the snow. So, these fools go to the neighbor's house and ask if they have anything they can put some bloody snow in. And they get some red Solo cups. Yeah. That's what they collected evidence in. Freaking red Solo cups. And that wasn't tossed out immediately. I don't even understand. But I can tell you that there is a really good discussion and people viewing the trial together, which I truly think is a wonderful thing that these creators are doing. On many channels are watching it together. So if you like, you can, check out Miss Emily that used to have the gorgeous purple hair. You can check out Miss Lana and several other creators. I'm not leaving anybody out. I just can't name them all. Okay. So There's all kinds of places to watch and keep up with the trial, but I'll keep you posted on the big highlights, okay? That's right. Because Fancy's got your back. Why? Because I like you. And if you like me, you'll hit the like for me, please. I sure would appreciate any of you new subscribers because we have fun and I'm going to be doing these lives. And when you join my channel, you become a member of Fancy's YouTube Neighborhood Watch, where we run the streets looking for trouble and fun. Lots of fun. All right. Now, on to the next story. Holy moly, not Daddy again. Oh, wait, there he was. Let's go back to that handsome boy, not this one. Oh, my goodness. There he is. Look at that. I bet you've not seen that picture. Have you? Do you know who that is? Anyone? Well, that would be Mr. BryanKohberger when he graduated from DeSales University in Pennsylvania. Yeah, doesn't he not look scary or have any kind of evil eyes like, strangely, the pictures that the media keeps displaying of him? Seems like they're always just the worst lighting and images. I don't know. That's just my observation. What do I know? I'm just a cousin to a former prosecutor in another world. Yeah, there's old. Oh, it's the darn news. Get off of there. Come on. I'm so sorry. I'm so unprofessional. Let me start. Story. All right. BryanKohberger. The leaks, the gag orders, and the alternate perpetrators. That's right. I'm telling you, folks, this is my main jam. This is the one I'm into. Oh, Dateline, bless your little investigative heart. Just drop in leaked evidence like it's a season finale cliffhanger. Except the jury hasn't even been seated yet. Come on. That's right, folks. The BryanKohberger case is heating up again. And now, the judge is hunting down leaks like it's a political scandal. Apparently, someone has spilled sensitive case details to Dateline. And now, the court is scrambling to figure out who violated the gag order. Yes, folks, there is a gag order on this case, which is not normal and not very forthcoming like our judicial system is supposed to be. I know that many people keep shrugging their shoulders and saying, oh, well, I don't care. We don't need to know. They're supposed to. No, I'm sorry. You don't understand what our forefathers fought and died for in this country. Is one of the things is that we would have equal justice for all. Equal justice for all means that no shenanigans go on behind closed doors. This stuff is not supposed to be sealed. It's not done in other cases. And when you have some weird decisions like this being made, they are actually, people of Idaho, you're actually pushing your choices onto the entire country because now there is a precedent set for some of this shenaniganism. So, most likely this will be argued and put before the Supreme Court of the United States anyway. And some people might hear a little more about standards and how we typically do things in our justice system, which means we are open. We have things that are open to the public. Freedom of Information Act. Public is allowed to hear and attend things in trials. The only things that should ever be sealed are things that would involve details of minors that would be protecting them and possibly some personal small details, social security numbers, things like that, things that are just not necessary for the public to have access to. But everything else, your strategies, your little conversations, your everything that's going on in this case, yeah, that's supposed to be free and out in the public. That's just somebody who really appreciates the Constitution and our justice system. That's just my point of view on that. Tell me what you think in the comments. Am I full of malarkey? Tell me. I don't mind. Let's have a talk about it because I live in the land of the free. Home of the brave. All right. Back to my story here. My news report. It's not a story. It's a news report. Well, it's a news story. Anyway. Okay. The Koberger case is heating up, and now the judge is hunting down those leaks, as I said. Meanwhile, Koberger, the defense is pushing this alternate perpetrator theory, meaning that there are 3 different male DNAs that were found in and around the victims in that case that have not been put through DNA testing to try to locate who they belong to. But we do know they do not belong to Mr. Koberger. Now, that could mean, I'm not trying to tell anyone what to think, because this is America. We can think what you like. And I am trying to be pretty unbiased, okay? But I get passionate when I think that things are not being done justice-wise, okay? So I'm going to try my best here. I don't see why, in any situation where there is a homicide, that you would not test every single sample of DNA left by someone that is not waving their hand saying, "Hey, I was here." I think you would test them all, because if you thought that Mr. Koberger could be involved in this, you may think, geez, he could have had other people with him. And wouldn't we want to get everyone? So I can't really think of any reason why you would not, law enforcement, have tested those DNA samples. Yeah. Apparently, the defense is going to do that. You're welcome. I think also I would want everyone penalized if it was my loved one, but what do I know? Okay, anyway, back to this details. So, Koberger's defense is presenting that there could be alternate perpetrators or additional perpetrators. Let's just put it that way, because it will be viewed both ways, I'm sure. And why not throw in another plot twist before the trial officially starts in August, So, unlike typical defense teams, this Judge Hippler, has decided that to name anyone that could be a co-conspirator, a co-participator, a alternate perpetrator, that he's requiring the defense basically do the job of the police and bring evidence. They're supposed to have researched and bring evidence to back up any theories that they present. I hear ya, but big dog, that's not their job. And I have heard quite a lot of other lawyers and other people very respected in the law community have quite an opinion about the limits that this judge is stretching his authority. Let's just say that. It would just be, it would be more typical that when you are defending someone, that you should be able to say anything to defend, because as long as there is evidence to prove otherwise, it doesn't matter unless you've created actual doubt. And it only says that you defend, and your job as a defense attorney is to present all reasons that could be doubt in your client's guilt or innocence here. Okay, so, well, their guilt, I'm sorry. You don't typically have to go out and then also play murder, she wrote, and get all of your evidence, which is not your job to do. It should have been done by the Moscow Police Department. I don't know, call me crazy, but yeah, so now, I mean, everybody people are very upset on certain sides, saying that they don't want any kind of delay, they don't want anything going on. They think that everybody, because Ms. Taylor did ask for additional time. That is one of Bryan's lawyers. But the thing that I just want to point out that is, when you are involved in a court case that includes the death penalty, you're actually being asked to basically prepare two cases at the same time when you are the defense. The prosecution is only going to do the one thing, try to prove their prosecution of the person they have had arraigned. So they're just creating, bringing forth and putting out one set of evidence. And what everybody doesn't like to always see is the other side of things, which I'm working on that as well. So I'm not being judgy, but we can all do better at, understanding each other's and our differences and acting like grown-ups and not spewing hate at each other. But what I'd like to say is that, Miss Taylor has to have two cases going at the same time. So it's not that she's asking, they act like, especially Sheshley, well, she's had all this time. Well, Sheshley's getting the same, if not more time. And Ms. Taylor does have to have everything ready for, let's say, the case ends and her client would be found guilty. She must then immediately go into this whole part for the death penalty that they would have to present an entire, basically it's a whole new trial. There are rules for it. You have to go and speak to certain generations back in each person's family, make sure that there's no issues with substance abuse or mental or physical abuse or any kind of reason that possibly could give someone a reason that they would not be a good candidate or a fair candidate for a death penalty scenario. So that's a lot of work, and she has to have everything ready for that as well. So I just want people to keep that in mind, that there is more work for the defense in this case, for sure. So anyway, so this week, a bunch of documents dropped, and unfortunately, they have decided to seal a whole bunch of everything again, which is out of normal standards. But they are doing this investigation, which primarily is investigating someone in the prosecution's side of things. The government's side is suspected and basically accused of being the leak in this. There were certain things that were photographs, actual items that were on the suspect's phone, allegedly. And we don't know if they're used in or out of context, or if they've been altered to make someone appear some way or not some way, Just different things that Dateline would not have had access to had they not had physical access to evidence that is not supposed to be leaked to anyone or discussed or known to anyone because the people of Moscow like to keep everything close to the vest. That is the stupidest saying. I'm sorry. Let's keep that close to the vest. Close to the vest. If I hear that or opine, like one more time, it's like, can I get you all a thesaurus? Is there anything else that you could say besides over and over repeating the same thing? It's really annoying. And what the heck does that mean anyway? Close to the vest. I mean, close to the chest, close to the vest, close to the best. I mean, get out. It's just silly. It's silly. Why don't they just say, we like to keep secrets because we're not wanting anybody to grade our work. Okay. That's a little snarky. I apologize. Anyway, back to it. Yeah. So, chances are, according to the paperwork that was dropped today, earlier, they did say that the defense had turned in their list of Hitler-required evidence to back up why they are submitting people as possible alternate perpetrators of this horrific crime that took place in a home off campus very near the University of Idaho, where 4 students were slain in November of 2022. It is a case where everybody involved, I know they can't always see each other's sides, but everybody wants justice for these beautiful lives that were taken too soon. And just this past week, we also did celebrate one of the victims, Miss Madison Mogan, Maddie Mae Mogan. It was her birthday, and her parents, to celebrate, asked that everyone do random acts of kindness to remember Maddie by. She was known as such a very happy, cheerful, beautiful young lady, and she was kind to a lot of people. So I went to a restaurant. Well, McDonald's. I went to McDonald's. I ordered my breakfast and I paid for the car behind me. And I hope that they continued that chain. I don't know if you guys ever do that. Where you live, we do. And, I asked them to let them know that that was a gift from Ms. Maddie Mogan on Maddie Mogan Day. And I explained it to him. Tell them, and hopefully they would pass it on. So that was something I did. I would love to know if you did something. Just my condolences again to the family. She's a beautiful, beautiful girl. I'm sure she is horribly missed, but very much celebrated by a lot of people on this birthday. So I hope that you hear wonderful tales of good acts that occurred in her name. It's a good way to remember someone by. And very soon we will have Kaylee Gonzalez's birthday. I believe it's another week. And they have Kaylee Jade Day, I believe. It would be the second time we'd have that one as well. So I'll be doing the same thing. And I hope you will too. Okay. So basically, nothing says fair trial like a whodunit subplot starring law enforcement and the prosecution. I mean, they got a little bit of a ripping from Judge Hitler about their leaking going on. And I know there's a debate about whether some people are saying it could be the defense. The judge warned both teams that they're supposed to, but the only one that he specifically cited as saying this evidence came from here, it's the prosecution's side. That could be a law enforcement officer. That could be an officer of the court. It could be maybe possibly one of their experts or something that was reviewing things. But they're going to get to the bottom of it. It looks like Hitler, he is mad. So somebody might be going to jail and losing their job. I really don't know. But I'll keep you informed when I do know. So they do have jury selection set for July. And in this case, I mean, if it gets any wilder, they might need to sequester the jury just to keep them from scrolling through X uh, in old tickety tockety. I'll tell you. Don't you know that Ann Taylor, she was ready with her request for a continuance, man. And, honey, when your client's trial is turning into a media circus, you don't just ask for a continuance. You ask for a full-blown season delay. But maybe even a spin-off series. I don't know. I mean, it could be Koberger versus the Leakers. A battle royale on MTV. I'm telling you, folks, I can't make this up. I mean, at this rate, Dateline will have the entire case wrapped up before the first witness ever even takes the stand. Because, I mean, their sources just top notch. Always checking out there, right, guys? Anyway, I digress. Okay. Should we ever even bother seating a jury, because I honestly, maybe NBC would just like to handle the closing arguments. I mean, I'm sorry. Well, there you have it. If you don't laugh, you're going to cry, folks. So, I'm sorry. Fancy Grace's weekly courtroom roundup here, where the drama is high, the baby oil is plentiful, and the legal system is working overtime. Just remember, everyone, please remain alert, remain aware, and always remember that justice is no joke. I will be here for you, and if there is a case that you would like me to add into my routine here, please feel free to drop me a comment, and I will happily keep everybody updated with these, fun little snarky little twists on what's going on in court. Just remember, please, that each of these people, Mr. Diddy, Ms. Reed, Mr. Brown, and Mr. Koberger, are all innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. That is the way that we do things here in America, and it's been working for quite some time. So, I'm sticking to it. I don't know. It's going to be an interesting summer, though. We also have, I don't know, if anybody is into the Stephen Stern case. Stephen Stern. Let me know if you'd like me to give you coverage on that. I don't know. I'm open. I am open for some suggestions. I will be doing some Fancy versus Nancy little episodes here too. So I would suggest, if you enjoy my shorts or you want to see this celebrity roundup type of deal, or what's going on in court, or any kind of serious topics, anything that you want me to do law wise, just drop me a message in the chat, or whatever, leave a comment. Like, subscribe. If you subscribe, you can turn off the notifications. If you're somebody that doesn't subscribe, like 67% of the people that watch my videos, if you don't, if it's because you don't like to get those notifications all the time, I totally get you. You can go in and you can turn that little bell off. You don't have to get them, but you will get a little message then maybe on your phone, and then that's what I do. I don't like the bang bang, but I like to know when there's something new to watch, so that's an option. But I would love it if you would like, subscribe, do all those things, and help Fancy Grace get a little bit of notoriety so that I can reach out to other YouTubers that may just find my work something that they enjoy. And they won't ever see it. It'll get buried amongst all the larger people if you don't help me out. And, I started all this because my kids were really kind of mean as I'm getting older, and they didn't think that I could do anything like this. But I do all this myself, so I'm proud of me, even if you're not. So, but hey, if you want to just help me stick it to my kids, that's always fun too. You can just leave a little thumbs up and let them know that old Fancy Grace is not ready for the pasture yet. I'll be here and I'll be going to Idaho for a week, most likely here, folks. I'm trying to plan on doing that. I just haven't decided when. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to go at the end or the middle. I don't know, but I'm going because I intend on showing you what it's really like in all that snarky, Bryan Enton and everybody else. I want to show you how they act and how they really are because I got something to say. I want to go see Nancy. Let me know. All right, guys. This has been Fancy Grace's Crime Roundup. Thank you for joining me.